the incredible, the fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, come one and come all to a film you've never seen before. But remember, folks, no refunds.
Hello and welcome to No Refunds, the podcast where we watch bad movies so you don't have to, a Cold North production. I'm your host, Ben Reynolds, and this week we watched Rowdy Harrington's 1989 film, Roadhouse. Joining me this time, we have the tenacious Tim Miller.
Hello!
And Patrick, the Law Morris.
I just gotta say, I did not know the director's name was Rowdy. That makes it so much better. It's thematically correct.
I mean, you don't come up with the idea to rip a man's throat out.
If your name ain't Rowdy.
Check out everything we have going on over at coldnorthpro.com, and if you like what you hear, leave us a rating and review wherever you found our podcast. And now, Roadhouse.
Can I buy you guys a drink? Guess not.
Patrick Swayze is
Dalton.
I thought you'd be bigger.
Opinions vary.
When he's around, anything can happen,
How does a guy like you end up a bouncer?
Just lucky, I guess.
and usually does.
If somebody gets in your face, I want you to be nice.
Don't be rude. Ask him to walk, but be nice. Help this gentleman to the door.
Until it's time to not be nice.
So says the fighting philosopher.
He may be hard to handle,
I keep talking, you're gonna go off thinking I'm a nice guy.
I know you're not a nice guy.
but he's easy to like.
What's the matter, Dalton? Don't you like women?
The worst I ever had was wonderful.
He's not what you'd expect.
I thought you'd be bigger.
But there's one thing you can count on. He's the best friend a good time ever had.
You guys tired?
Doc, I'll get all the sleep I need and I'm dead.
This is my town. I'm not afraid of him. I guess you'll be having that fire sale now, all right?
You got your hands full, kid.
I just think I'm looking at a dead man.
Patrick Swayze,
For that line of work, I thought you'd be bigger.
Gee, I've never heard that before.
Roadhouse.
All right. So each week we all take a crack at writing the Google plot synopsis. Then we'll read what Google has and what we have, and then Tim and Pat basically will decide which one they think is Google. And yeah, it's pretty great usually. So let's start here. The Double Deuce is the meanest, loudest, and rowdiest bar south of the Mason-Dixon line, and Dalton has been hired to clean it up. He might not look like much, but the PhD-educated bouncer proves he's more than capable, busting the heads of troublemakers and turning the Roadhouse into a jumping hotspot. But Dalton's romance with the gorgeous Dr. Clay puts him on the bad side of cutthroat local big shot Brad Wesley. Then, Dalton, the best bouncer in the business, rolls from town to town protecting the bar with the fattest wallet at any given time. But when Dalton's job becomes threatened by a business tycoon obsessed with having his hand in every transaction in town, he's forced to dig in his heels and get ready for the fight of his life. With his mentor, girlfriend, and almost every small business owner in the county at his back, Dalton puts down roots and finds something worth fighting for in an unlikely roadhouse. Then, the legendary Cooler Dalton is thought to be the best in the business. So when a notoriously rough bar in Jasper, Missouri called the Double Deuce decides to clean up their reputation, Dalton is the only man for the job. While cleaning up the riffraff, Dalton crosses a powerful local businessman named Brad Wesley and starts a turf war that encompasses all of Jasper. And finally, Dalton, considered one of the best in the business, has been recruited to help bring a rowdy bar, the Double Deuce, under control for its new owner. Not all is as it seems, though, in the town of Jasper, Missouri, as Dalton finds out a man by the name of Brad Wesley has been taking over the town and abusing the townspeople as well as their livelihoods. Dalton must now protect his newfound friends and home the only way he knows how, through kick-ass martial arts and perseverance. And who knows, he may even get the girl along the way. All right, guys, what do you think?
Tim?
I think 2 was Google. That one I'm pretty certain of. I think 3 was Pat. And I think 1 was Ben.
Okay, so I'm going to say... One was Google, 2 was me, 3 was Ben, 4 was Tim.
Pat got them all.
Nailed it, baby.
I think he might have cheated.
I didn't cheat.
You admitted to having the notes open, and this is the biggest part of the notes.
I did. Okay, I was scrolling all the way down.
Sure.
Okay, no, because I thought that 1 was Tim until you were reading 4, and they were using language like kick-ass martial arts, which, by the way, I like your slip of the tongue, kick-ass martial arts. That's even better. And then I thought maybe that's Tim, and then Tim confirmed for me that's Tim.
Yep.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But Tim, you almost fooled me.
I tried.
But kick-ass martial arts.
I had to. Like, it's the whole premise of the movie.
It is.
Kickboxing.
Badass.
Yeah. Interesting plot.
I was intentionally very vague, thinking maybe this will fool him. Also, I watched the movie a while ago, so a combination of those two things.
I had to go back through my notes and actually look up who was who, because I could not remember any of the characters' names because it's been so long.
You didn't remember Dalton?
Nah.
No, I remember Dalton. I checked to see if he had a last name.
The only one I remember was Dr. Clay, for good reason.
Doc. Oh, man.
Doc. Which, that's like clear homage to the fact that this is a fucking modern Western.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Like,
this was a cool movie.
I mean, yeah, it's fun to watch.
Like, I guess I'm just going to come out and say that I liked this movie.
Oh, yeah, this movie was absolutely great.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie.
It's quintessential 80s action flick. I don't know what more you want from it.
I mean, Ben also thinks it's quintessential, the pinnacle of what, Ben? Gratuitous 80s nudity.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Definitely the pinnacle of gratuitous 80s nudity.
All
there,
right.
or at least in the first half.
Yeah.
There was not as much nudity in the second half.
I mean, I would have to watch Stripes again, but that's the only one that comes to mind as, like, even a contender against Roadhouse.
Yeah, Stripes does have some gratuitous nudity in it.
Just
quite a bit of it.
So many titties. But, like, in a cool way, not in a gamer way.
Yeah, gamer was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was Daybreakers. Daybreakers was pretty rough too.
Yeah, that one was bad.
Yeah, Daybreakers had weird nudity. This was like cool nudity because this was very obviously the director Rowdy trying to be like, what can I make that like 14-year-old dudes are going to jerk off to?
Oh man!
And he nailed it.
You saw this movie on, like, I'm sure, I'm pretty sure that the first time I saw this movie, it was on cable, and so like definitely did not have
Just
all
like
of
half
it.
the movie is missing. What? Where are all these plot points coming from? Because like even this is so most movies when they do like gratuitous nudity like this, it's like, okay, this is just unnecessary and you could cut it out and totally get the same thing. But like this movie, it was like major plot points were happening while there was nudity on screen. like the scene.
Well, and then why did fucking Brad Wesley's chick just start stripping?
Exactly, and that was a major plot point.
He was just like into it too.
Yeah, and she was hot.
Yeah, that was wild. That was definitely wild.
I was texting Ben while he was watching the movie, and I was like, dude, have you gotten to the scene where Wesley's chick strips for no reason on stage? And he's like, what? No. And then like a half hour later, he's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Oh man. All right, so each film we go through, we'll revisit these 7 questions to lead our discussion. And the first one is, how bad was it? I mean, the plot was not good.
It wasn't great.
So not necessarily like truly disagreeing with you guys, but just playing devil's advocate here. It did have some value in that it was it wasn't typical. It was very simple, and that's like one thing that I really don't like about movies these days is the stakes just have to keep getting higher and higher and higher. And so many movies end with like a blue light beam coming down from the sky and the end of the world, right? And that's
just wait
like
till next week.
Oh God, what are we watching?
I can't tell you yet.
Okay.
Don't cheat.
Okay, I'm just looking at my notes. But so many movies have to be like the end of the world. Whereas this movie is just like, nope, just a guy, just a bouncer who's just like a badass and protecting a town, like a very small town. And so to its credit, at least it kind of, granted it wasn't bucking a trend because it wasn't a trend back then, but it was a much more contained, low stakes plot, much more personal, I would say.
Well, I mean, the thing I think that like it's not plausible that the stakes could be that low with a character like Brad Wesley doing the things that he was doing.
That's true. Like
in a modern, that's why that's really why it's like a modern Western, but it's like it doesn't really make sense because it's like there's no, like at some point the fucking FBI would
like where are the state police?
Yeah, there's no way he would have gotten away with running a monster truck through.
I was gonna point out
lot.
The monster truck. That's fucking badass. Brad Wesley has got a dick to swing.
But that's like I mean it's so I don't know. It's like that's why I'd say the plot is just not. It's full of holes. Like really.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. But like,
maybe I'm being a little nitpicky, but I don't think I'm being really that nitpicky.
I don't think you are. Honestly, I think there was a worse problem with the movie, and that was like more along the lines of dialogue, and it was really cheesy. Really cheesy.
So we are well into the second question of what made it bad. And we're basically arguing whether how bad it was.
Yeah, because we all think it was good.
This was a great movie.
It was a good movie, but
there are definitely flaws.
We're really pointing out why it wasn't perfect.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But
one thing, I'll be nitpicky. That waitress at the beginning, she served a beer that was half head.
Yeah, I saw that.
I literally wrote down a note about it.
You know what? The monster truck driving through the car dealership, I think that's you going one step too far, but you got a point with the beer with a half head there.
seriously, that makes it a fucking bad movie.
Like, God, that's some sloppy filmmaking right there.
Well, and why didn't Dalton wear underwear?
Well, that's something that a lot of people in the 80s did.
I guess.
Based on my knowledge of movies.
Uncomfortable.
Purely a comfort thing.
I sure ain't gonna show you my dick.
Is it more comfortable though? Because you're gonna chafe.
I mean, if you tuck it the right way.
Just seems like in jeans, I would not want to not wear underwear.
Yeah, but also if I was just a raw sex machine the way Dalton is, I don't think I would wear underwear.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if I was just as pure sex as Swayze, and just like I would need to be ready to get down anytime, and underwear is just gonna be one more layer getting in the way.
That's a good point. So here's another problem with it, but like, why the fuck did Patrick Swayze try and fight Sam Elliott in that one scene?
Which specific scene?
Like when he was training in the barn and Sam Elliott came to talk to him after they had after Sam Elliott had shown up the first night and they'd gotten in the fight in the bar. The next day, like Dalton's like is training in the barn or whatever with the bag, and Sam Elliott walks in there because he wants to leave, and Dalton literally starts trying to fight him before he even starts talking to him. It's like, what the fuck? Why would Dalton try and fight his best friend?
Yeah, Dalton had I feel like this movie was very much like a tale of two Daltons. Like there was the cool-headed, like very zen, really, really awesome Dalton from the first half, and then there was the really unhinged,
throat-ripping Dalton
from the second half. And
he drags bodies out into the lake.
Right. Like, I feel like they were two radically different characters. The first half Dalton being much, much better than the second half Dalton. And I think that like, him trying... They didn't really know what to do with the character or how the character would react to these extreme situations because they had written him so cool in the first half. And so that was kind of the catalyst of second half of the movie Dalton being pretty shitty character.
Yeah. All right, well, now we're talking about characters. Which character was the worst?
God, I can't remember his name. Was it the guy that got fired from the Double Deuce and then went and was like, "Hey, Wes, go cancel all their bar or all their beer or whatever."
The tall, lanky dude. I know which guy you're talking about. I can see him. I just can't
Yeah.
remember his name.
Was it him? Because he was pretty shitty.
Yeah, he never really got any good punches in either. He got beat up a lot.
He did.
Not as much as the fat guy.
No, but
But at least he lived.
And he was funny.
That
yeah.
too.
And he got scared of the polar bear.
Yeah.
A polar bear fell on me.
Yeah. That was so silly. A polar bear fell on me.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean...
Because really, like, this whole thing happened because this guy who was stealing from his job had a little bitch fit because he got fired for stealing from his job.
Yeah, it's true.
He was the nephew of Brad? Yeah, so yeah, he just went and tattled the uncle.
Yeah.
It's true.
Fucking bitch. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, all right. That does make sense.
And then
I
think we're all going to agree. I think we might be double unanimous here.
Which character was the best? Doc?
Oh.
Kelly Lynch?
Are you serious?
She's definitely the hottest character.
I was not going to say Dalton. I was going to say Sam Elliott.
Oh, Wade Garrett?
Wade Garrett.
That's
Hell yeah.
What a badass.
He does get stabbed, but like if he was more badass, he would have not lost in that fight.
Oh,
there
he
needed
was
to be some final There needed to be some final catalyst to push Dalton over the edge to actually
kill
go
Kelly
after
Lynch,
Brad.
because he didn't end up with Kelly Lynch in the end anyway.
Wait, Doc?
Yeah.
No, he did.
Yeah, he does.
Well,
He totally gets the girl at the end.
in theory, he shouldn't have. Like, that doesn't really make sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
It
she
doesn't
was
make
like-
sense, but...
but there's so much in this movie that doesn't make sense. But she was like, she should have been majorly traumatized after a lot of things in that movie. Like, she just watches her new boyfriend just rip this guy's throat out right in front of her. Just like,
Well, that's when I think, because she like basically acts like she's gonna leave him at that point.
Didn't she technically leave him at that point?
Yeah, I guess she did basically.
But then I feel like it's very heavily implied that he like gets the girl and gets to live happily ever after. Like you said, Ben, it's a modern Western.
Yeah.
That's not super modern anymore.
No, not anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll give you guys that Brad Garrett or Wade Garrett was the best.
He was so cool. And like, especially since like, I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm just like a dumb movie watcher. But when he was like, when at the beginning of the movie, when the guy comes in, the guy who owns the Double Deuce comes in and he's like, I'm looking for the best. And he's like, I'm not the best. And he's like, call Wade Garrett or something, right? In my mind, I didn't think like, oh, Wade Garrett's going to be in the movie later. I just thought like, oh, and then when it happened, when Wade Garrett shows up and he calls him, I'm like, oh shit, that's the guy he was talking about. And I was psyched.
Yeah, I knew. I mean, I had seen the movie before.
I've seen the movie before, but it's been like 8 years, maybe.
It's been a long time since I've watched
I think
this
I honestly probably saw it when I was like 12 or something, shortly after we got cable, and I saw it on cable, so I don't think I had ever seen it with all the tits and stuff.
Oh, it can't have been 8 years. It was probably more like 6 years, because it was like, I remember Spencer used to want to watch that movie all the time because of the tits.
I could see that. That's funny. So was it so bad it was good? Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Oh, totally. This is like one of the like epitome of like definition of
this is
so bad. It's
definitely
good.
the definition of that question.
Oh yeah, because this movie's fucking awesome.
Probably even more. Well, I mean, it's like for the same exact reasons as fucking Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, totally, exactly. Like this is up there with Starship Troopers as like the best movies we've watched.
Like I was just gonna say, like this is maybe top Starship Troopers now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This movie is fucking cool. Like I would go watch this movie alone again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well,
I'll
that
be
way
watching
you can
this
jack
again.
off.
I'll be watching it again tonight, if you know what I mean.
Right. Okay, all right. Now you're making extra jokes. I was like, oh, dude, that's just
All right,
funny.
I'm out of here.
I mean, should like, I know that we've got at least one more question, but like,
We've got two more.
There were some nice titties in this movie, and I think that the best pair of titties got the least amount of screen time was the guy who was like, hey, give me $20 and I'll let you feel her up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. She was hot.
I don't know. Kelly Lynch is pretty hot.
Yeah.
So would it have been better as a Netflix or HBO series? I don't think so.
I mean, I can see it as like an anthology type series. Like telling this specific story, no. But like as like a kind of adventure of the week for Dalton as a badass bartender or bouncer, cooler. I could see that being entertaining. But like for this specific story, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. Like, I mean, that just sounds like a TV show that doesn't really exist anymore. There's not really TV shows like that anymore.
Yeah, which is a little bit of a shame because those are, and like especially in the 80s and 90s, there were a lot of shows, a lot of movies that did that where they like were a movie, and a lot of times they adapt it into a cartoon or an animated series. So like there was a Ghostbusters animated series, there was a Men in Black animated series, there was a Bill and Ted animated series. Trying to think, I think there was a Back to the Future animated series. And so this feels like maybe in a weird way it would be like a really good adult animated show. But you're right, Ben, that just doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think this would have worked well at all as a Netflix series. It works well enough as it is in its current medium, and messing with that, I think, would just ruin it entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just hope they never try and remake it.
And then the last question: would it have been better with John Cena? Duh.
Absolutely. This is like made for John Cena.
Now, is that the John Cena of today, or John Cena when he
that
was
would've
like
been
8 years old?
That is a good point.
John Cena.
Either way.
That makes it a better movie. But what role would we have John Cena play? Because I would not be psyched on having John Cena replace Swayze.
No, I would want to have him be just one of. I'd probably want him to be the fucking.
Oh, the bad
I used
guy.
To fuck guys like
he's Brad Wesley.
Guy.
Yeah, that was such a weird line. But yeah, totally. John Cena would 100% fit that part of like the antithesis to Swayze.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
All right, so that brings us to burning
Weird
questions.
flex, but okay.
So my first burning question is the EP, like the executive producer on this movie, whose name was Steve Perry. Is that the same Steve Perry who's in Journey?
I don't think so.
Maybe.
Disappointing. If it's not, I don't know.
The world may never know.
It's hard. I'm sure I could look it up, but that went beyond my forgettable bullshit. So I don't know. So also next question: Dalton doesn't fly because that's too dangerous.
Yeah, I think that was more to like contribute to his like
having a Mercedes that he drove all the way to Missouri.
It's pretty cool. But like,
and then he did not drive it again until he left.
I think it's to contribute more to his mystique of like, you know, just like that cool, like, has his reasons for doing things first half of the movie Dalton.
Okay. So now my next question is, how would you feel if someone was, in all seriousness, told you, I used to fuck guys like you in prison?
I would be like,
weird flex, but okay.
Am I your type? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
I'm flattered, but buy me a drink first.
Yeah. Going off that, is that the best intimidation? Like, is that the best trash talk in movie history?
I sure ain't going to show you my dick is also right up there.
Both gems from this movie.
You're too stupid to have a good time. Another great one.
I see you found my trophy room, Dalton. Only thing that's missing is your ass.
How about Steve getting some cut on his break in the beginning?
Good for Steve.
The guy who Dalton had to fire at the very
beginning. Got him
beginning.
fired, but good for Steve.
Right?
Yeah.
That was like the first pair of titties you saw, too.
That's right.
Not a bad pair.
Man, they were really going at it, too.
Yeah. What happened to Steve, do you think? That's a burning question.
Yeah, what happened to Steve? Where's the Steve spin-off movie?
Fucking Dalton fired me. Do you think he went and got his uncle to start fucking with that bar that Dalton used to be working at?
Probably.
Maybe there's just a whole... Maybe that's where the Netflix series comes from, is just...
Steve
all the
spin-off.
bars Dalton works at
Getting fucked over by Steve.
Some guy who Dalton fires just ends up fucking shit up at everyone, and it's really like then after the first season, people are just kind of like, actually, Dalton, we don't really want you to work here anymore.
Roadhouse aftermath.
Because they're like, it seems like every time you come, you fire somebody, and then things get like really, really bad for a while, and like, we kind of just don't want that.
Yeah, that's true. I like. Okay, so I have a burning question. Is Wesley, was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
The bad
Brad
guy?
Wesley. Yes.
He had his hand in all the businesses in the town, right? Do you think that maybe it was his fault that no one could buy underwear in that town? Do you think
very
maybe
possible.
he was like,
He just had a monopoly on the underwear.
yeah, and he was like, I don't want people wearing
I've
underwear.
got all the underwear.
Yeah, exactly.
This way I can fuck even faster.
Exactly. And maybe it worked out. So maybe that's like, maybe he's on the cutting edge of,
Maybe that's how he got Dr. Clay initially.
yeah, because he's the quickest one to get down.
Because that also did seem improbable that Dr. Clay would have been interested in Brad Wesley at any point ever.
Oh, she was such a babe.
But yeah, I know. But like based on the character of her that we saw, it does not make any sense that she would have been interested in Brad Wesley.
Wait,
I mean, she did mention that he was different when he first came into town. Or when she
did she
first
say
came
that?
into town. Yeah, it was something along those lines. I don't remember the exact conversation, but she does
Okay.
mention something about that to Dalton.
well, also, I mean, you got to have some silly way of them having a connection to raise the stakes.
Yeah, I guess
True.
that's true. I guess that's true.
But
Plus,
also,
bitches love money.
he must, yeah, I think that's maybe more of what they were going for is like just that typical archetype, because Denise was also a babe, and they didn't like, that doesn't really make sense either, that Denise could, that Wesley
Well, no,
could get-
Denise would make more sense because, but what I'm saying is that Doc Clay did not seem like she was like the type who would be like super into just
Who
a
would-
really rich guy.
yeah, I guess that's
Whereas
true.
Denise seemed more like she would be that type.
They definitely wrote Denise as that type of character.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's
shit.
Just one more plot hole.
Denise was also in Point Break. Nice.
There you go. Yeah, so then my last burning questions were like, where's the local police department, the Missouri Bureau of Investigation, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or the state police, or
Yeah, like,
and how
why
many-
isn't anyone
how
stepping
many
in here?
law agencies did Brad have in his pocket?
I mean, he already had, like, the local town sheriff in his pocket, which probably could have made up stories to who the hell knows.
This
maybe.
this goes all the way up to the president.
The
Damn it,
president.
Obama.
God damn it.
Thanks a lot, Obama.
All right. So on to forgettable bullshit we found on Wikipedia and sometimes IMDb. Tonight was actually mostly IMDb. Wikipedia did not have a whole lot except for a gem from Raj. But so yeah, we'll start out with box office. The budget was $17 million in the U.S., which actually is pretty high for a movie in '89.
Oh, yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
Like,
I was pretty big there back then.
yeah. Domestically in the U.S., it did $30 million. Worldwide, it did $88 million. So it was pretty successful.
Very successful.
Yeah.
Like, that's big numbers for a movie back then.
Yeah, made 4 times its money back, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next one is, according to Kelly Lynch, whenever Bill Murray sees her sex scene with Patrick Swayze on TV, he calls her husband Mitch Glazer and teases him about it.
Oh, Bill Murray's the king.
It's a funny
That's pretty
dude.
awesome. Yeah. So then the next one I have is the band playing at the start of the movie is Cruzados. And after that band disbanded, the lead singer, Tito Lariva, formed the band Tito and Tarantula, which is the band that played at the Titty Twister in the movie From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
Which is a Robert Rodriguez movie with starring Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney. Very good movie. It's kind of a horror movie. It's pretty good.
Super good movie. I really like Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's a very good movie.
Like, just looking through Robert Rodriguez's filmography, it's like, is he one of, like, and I know that this isn't true, but it's like, is he one of the best directors in Hollywood?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's still damn good at what he does.
The dude directed, did he direct Spy Kids? I think he did.
I don't know if he directed it, but he was definitely like the executive producer. Because it was Troublemaker Studios.
Yeah. And then he built that whole... No, he directed it. Spy Kids and Machete. God.
Machete.
That's such a weird sequel. All right, sorry, Ben. Continue.
Yeah, that would... So the next thing was this film is listed among the 100 most enjoyably bad movies ever in Golden Raspberry Award founder John Wilson's book, The Official Razzie Movie Guide.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understandably.
Yeah, understandably, definitely. The scene where the monster truck drives through the Ford dealership, the monster truck is Bigfoot 7, and it is driven by former driver and vice president of Bigfoot 4x4, Jim Kramer. It cost $500,000 to shoot to make that scene and was done in one take.
I knew that was Bigfoot.
Bigfoot had to be repainted, and after the scene, and went on to crush cars throughout the country and the world.
Nice. One of the best. Bigfoot and Gravedigger.
Yep.
Yeah. Roadhouse received negative reviews upon release. Variety was critical of a flat romantic attachment between Dalton and Clay and wrote that its vigilante justice, lawlessness, and wanton violence feel ludicrous in a modern setting, which we all kind of
agree with.
Said.
Think that makes it a cool movie.
So here we go with Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
Friend of the show. Rest in peace.
2.5 stars out of 4 and commented, Roadhouse exists right on the edge between the good bad movie and the merely bad. I hesitate to recommend it because so much depends on the ironic vision of the viewer. This is not a good movie, but viewed in the right frame of mind, it is not a boring one either.
That's actually very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes I do dislike Roger Ebert's analysis just because I feel like it is kind of uppity, but like he nailed that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right, well, since we don't only watch bad movies and TV, let's talk about some of the stuff that we've genuinely enjoyed watching lately. Tim?
Well, I only do watch bad movies, let's be real here. No, I guess the best thing that I've watched this past week is I went back and revisited The Blues Brothers, another great 80s film.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
We're on a mission from God.
Hell yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah. I assume you're coming to me next.
Yes, Patrick. That's you next.
That's me next. God, I don't even remember what I've been watching lately.
He's got his eyes closed, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll say I watched the end of The Bachelorette, and it was crazy. And
so he lied?
Hannah's a stupid idiot for not picking Tyler first.
But so what did he lie about?
Oh, okay. So Hannah picked Jed, which was stupid because he was like there,
and his name was Jed.
Yeah, he was he was there, and he was like basically there to promote his music career. That's why he went there. And then it came out after she had picked him that he had like been dating this girl all the way up until like right before the show, like literally the day before the show. He was texting her and saying like, "Oh, I love you," blah blah blah. And then Hannah found out, and then they broke up. And then in the at the live show after the end of the show, Hannah went to like the second place guy, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to go out sometime and get a drink?" And he was like, "Yeah." And it's like that was a major crowd pleaser because everyone wanted that guy to win anyways.
Fair enough.
Good for them. It won't last more than 3 months.
Yeah,
that's kind of the expectation in this show.
Fair enough. Well, I personally have been watching Succession. I heard that it was very good, the HBO show. I'd heard that it was very, very good. I tried to watch like the first episode a couple times and like fallen asleep. And then the other day I was just like, I got really mad at playing video games while I was playing 2K and was just like, done. Don't want to play video games anymore. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to do. And I was like, what should I do? And then I was like, oh, new season of Succession starts soon. Which when this podcast comes out, it'll already have started. But I was like, oh, maybe I'll try that and try and catch up. And yeah, I got way into it, and yeah, it's really fun to watch. So
nice.
Yeah, rich people, rich problems.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch because that is
Kieran
escapism.
Culkin. Yeah. Well, and Kieran Culkin is hilarious in it, so that's pretty fun too.
Kieran Culkin is hilarious in everything he does.
I would definitely recommend that to you, Pat. I bet you would probably like it. It is also what's his name? Will Ferrell's writing partner / director.
Adam McKay,
or I guess former.
Yeah.
Adam McKay he was like I think maybe the showrunner.
Oh, nice.
He directed several episodes, I know, and is definitely very involved.
I do like Adam McKay quite a bit.
Yeah. It's kind of got sort of the feel of like The Big Short, kind of, in some ways.
God, The Big Short was such a good movie.
Yeah, I would recommend this show to you.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. All right, well, that wraps up this week's discussion of Roadhouse. Join us next week when we'll be discussing Antoine Fuqua's 2013 first entry in the Fallen series, Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, God, fucking damn it.
Don't forget to check out our incredible website, coldnorthpro.com, where you can see everything we do in one place, specifically things like our weekly gaming podcast, Hard Reset. See you next time, and don't forget, no refunds.
That's fine. You can keep my money this time.
Yeah.
I was more than content.
Good movie.